Chasta here for 1077 The Bone, and I'm so excited to have Larry C. Hall on the line with me to talk about the Jim Irsay Collection coming to San Francisco. I've been talking about this for quite some time, building up to December 10th. It's going to be at the Bill Graham Auditorium here. So I'm so excited. You are the curator, the chairman of this collection. I want to get into this. It's such a special kind of thing, along with a concert, of course. So let's chat about this. How are you? Thank you for joining me today.
I'm great. Thanks so much for having me, Chasta. Really couldn't be more excited. This is going to be the 8th stop on a tour that began just a little over a year ago. And Jim Irsay's passion for rock and roll, American history, and pop culture is really what led him to accumulate all these artifacts. Yeah. But he doesn't get them just to keep them to show his friends. Literally takes them out around the country. We've already been to Nashville, DC, Austin, LA, New York, Chicago, Indy, and now we're coming to the Bay.
I'm so excited. It's like a traveling museum of rock and roll history. I remember, I've gone to, for instance, Mopop in Seattle. And, you stand there in front of whatever it might be. Let's just throw out Dave Grohl's drum kit, for instance. And you're standing, a foot or two from this piece of rock and roll history. And it gives you all the goosies, and it just takes you back, and you're like, oh my God, this is real. This, and I'm this close to it. I love that Jim has decided to, like you said, not keep it for his own, because he very well could, but he's sharing it with the rest of us. It's such a beautiful thing. How did he decide to start doing this?
Well, I think it was a passion he developed as a child, collecting random things, whether it be stamps or coins or whatever. And then as he got older and recognized that there's some pretty significant things happening in the country. I think the first major purchase he made for the collection was the Jack Kerouac On the Road scroll, which will also be in San Francisco, and people can see that as well. We'll have that on display. Really the Beat generation, how it affected, people's thought processes and how to live, and it's okay to think outside the box, so to speak. Way back in the 50s, that resonated with him.
That piece will be very popular here in San Francisco.
No question. Yeah. We're excited about it. We're excited about that. There's a guy that we have on retainer from the Lilly Library at IU, Indiana University, who goes on the road with us that can talk all day about it. He's a paper preservationist, has a long white beard, very pronounced. His name's Jim Canary. He's a great guy, and he knows the scroll inside and out. But a number of other things that we do related to rock and roll. You talk about Dave Grohl's kit. We have the Beatles drum head from the Sullivan Show, and I give a little pause, right? Because that, there's this triumvirate. I started to recognize, I had a little epiphany about a year ago about the things that have been accumulated in the collection, and there's this perfect triumvirate that happens sometimes between the artist, the instrument, and the moment in time. The moment in time. So you think about how iconic. Yeah, the Beatles were the drum head, and then that Sullivan Show. People of a certain age. Ask Kenny Aronoff, right, the great drummer who plays Mercy. He'll tell you how his mom called him in from outside to watch that performance and how it changed his life. But even things like Dylan's guitar, that the first time he played an electric on stage, you got Bob Dylan, this particular guitar, and then that moment of time at Newport. Just an amazing piece, and I could go on and on and on, but it's really wonderful to bring it to San Francisco and have the Bay Area people be able to see it.
It really is. And also, to add to your point, there is the after effect, the domino of those things, right? Someone like you, right, seeing a moment like that and then going, oh, wow, I'm inspired enough to then become a musician or a collector or a historian. Those are moments in time, but they're moments in time that change time from then on. And that's, I
love your description. Yeah, that's wild. Great. Yeah, the ripple effect's amazing. And it's just a ripple, a domino. There's a lot of different things that emanate from it. But and I do a little bit of pinch myself, because here I've been with the Irsay family, for 39 seasons, and working with the Colts and now obviously the collection and overseeing it. It really is overused word, privileged, blessed. All those things are true for me. I truly love doing it. I continually try to upgrade what we do and how we do it. We've just built it recently, a new storage facility that has a lot of proper, heating and air conditioning controls, humidity controls, security and safety. I hired a young guy that has worked in Sacramento for a while, but he was also at the Smithsonian. He has a master's in museum studies.
Oh, wow.
So we take care of this stuff, right? Take it very, very seriously. It's a huge responsibility. Yeah, right. Because the artifacts deserve it. Jim Irsay deserves it. He's, put his time, effort, and resources into acquiring these things. But it isn't just so he can have them. Like I said, it's to share with the world. And that's what we're doing.
Yeah. You mentioned, of course, Jim with the Indianapolis Colts. So you worked with the team. How did it segue from doing that work into this specific curated work, so to
Well,
speak?
he realized my attention for detail, tracking. When you oversee all of ticketing, it's very much almost like an accounting based thing from a technical standpoint, but then you got to have soft skills too. And
Right,
he
right.
saw transferable skills. He said, "Hey, I've got this trusted guy. We're only 11 months to the day apart in age, and he was born in 1959 and born in 1960, so chronology of time is very similar for us. Our love of music is shared. A lot of other things we share. But in the end, I think he just recognized that he needed somebody to oversee it and then grow what's possible. And here again, that's what I really want to do, is make sure that we continually improve the way we do things. I lean heavily on people who are specialists. One of our appraisers said to me, she says, "Larry, you get a master's class every day." I said, "What do you mean by that, Laura?" She said, "Look, you talk to people who did one thing really well their entire lives, and then you learn from them." And I'm
Mhm.
willing to do that, right? I mean, I'm 62 years old. I'm willing to say, "Hey, I don't know, but she knows," right?
Right.
Or he knows. And we build a network of resources that help take care of the collection from any standpoint you can think of. Security, certainly protecting it, preserving it is a whole different situation.
Yeah.
We bought some museum quality display cases that we display some of the highest end guitars in. They have a 10 to 12 day air exchange rate. We bought those from a company in Germany called Glasgow Hahn, and they supply cases to the Met, the Louvre. So
Yeah.
we take it very seriously and take very
Wow.
good care of the stuff. Yeah.
That is incredible. I was going through the list. There are so many pieces, some that stuck out to me at Jerry Garcia because of where I'm at in San
Sure.
Francisco. Of course, there is an aunt that will be very popular. Miles Davis, huge fan, a trumpet of his. There was the Day the Music Died poster I saw. There's so many things to cover. Do you personally have a favorite piece?
Oh
I'm sure
gosh.
it's hard to choose.
I love you for asking me, right? And it's so hard. And I have so many. I'll tell you one that's fantastic is Elton John's piano.
I
He
mean,
used it for about 20 years. This thing is so iconic. And let's face it, your pianos has a serial number. It's this beautiful 9 foot long Steinway that he used almost 1,100 times on stage. It was lent to Freddie Mercury for a year. The last time John Lennon was alive in front of an actual live audience was with this piano and Elton John. And it also was lent to Sir Paul McCartney when he played Live Aid, and 1.9 billion people saw him play Let It Be. So it's sort of like the Forrest Gump of pianos. It's been in all
right.
these like famous places, and it's pretty cool. I really that if I had to pick one, that would be one of my top 10,
That
right?
is
But
an
it's just
incredible piece.
hard to really put your hands on. So that's coming.
Yeah.
That's a challenge, right? We have special piano movers that come, special art handlers. There's a number of things that we do. I won't talk about all of those for obvious reasons, but in the end, people in the Bay Area, get your tickets if you haven't got them yet. Come see it, because Elton John's piano, we've got John Lennon's piano that he had in 2 different homes that he owned, Tittenhurst Park in Kenwood. He wrote most of the songs for Sgt. Pepper's on it. This piano is over 150 years old. It had candelabras on it because it's older than electricity.
Sure. Oh my God. What in the world? That's so
Right.
crazy.
Yeah.
I'm such a history nerd. And also, fun fact, I'm a big believer personally in energy and juju and whatever anyone else wants to call it. So just you telling those stories about those pianos, I'm so excited. I cannot wait to see them. I mean, and we also want to make sure that we put out there, this is not just a traveling show of these incredible artifacts. It's also a concert. I mean, he has put together a hell of an all-star band, I will say.
Oh, there's no question. The band's fabulous. We've gotten to know some of those folks pretty well now. Mike Mills from REM, and Kenny Wayne Shepherd, Kenny Aronoff on drums. There's just a number of backup singers. And then we have guest performers, right?
Yeah.
So Buddy Guys performed with us in Chicago, and Indy's coming to San Francisco. Ann Wilson from Heart is going to come be a vocalist
That's
again.
wild.
And
That's
then
so
at this
cool.
particular show, I'm really excited because a big fan of CCR, and
Sure.
John Fogerty is going to perform. But over the course of time, we've had Billy Gibbons in LA with us. Natalie Merchant performed with the band in New York City. And of course, Jim Irsay likes to sing a song or two himself, and he has a wonderful time with it. Yeah, of course, he gets out there, has a cool hat, and does his thing. So, which is wonderful to hear. And there's another thing I'd like to touch on real quick, if you don't mind, is Kicking the Stigma. Kicking the Stigma is a program that the Irsay family developed to help with mental health awareness and care. And at each of these shows, we make sure there's a spot to acknowledge that. And so I think it's important for your audience to hear that piece too. So, he's got a huge heart, just a great guy. Obviously, I love him. And in the end, there's a lot of elements to this that I think are going to be a lot of fun for people, and everybody from the Bay should come out that can.
Yeah, it's a special kind of event, and that's what I've been saying on the air. It really is. It's not just a concert and not just a museum. It's this mishmash of traveling history and rock and roll. It's a once in a lifetime kind of experience, I would say. Different kind of date night, if you will.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And what a wonderful date night, no charge, right? I mean,
that's right. Even
Jim Irsay
better.
covers that. Come out and see us.
That's incredible. I mean, I am fully invested in what Jim's doing and you're doing. And thank you so much for taking the time to talk about these beautiful pieces that you are responsible for. No pressure, right?
No pressure, right? Hey, thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate it. All my best to you and everyone at your station. Take care.
Absolutely. I want to make sure everyone knows exactly what to do here. So it's Saturday, December 10th. I'll be there 7 to 10. Bill Graham. You can get the tickets. As we mentioned, they are free, but you do need to have a ticket. So you can do so. I want to make sure I get the website right, JimIrsayCollection.com. So very easily done. And I will see you there. And it's so nice to talk to you.
Perfect.
Thank you so much for taking the time.
Looking forward to seeing you there. Thanks so much.
Absolutely.